Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're diving into the Mongol Empire. Now most people think, just brutal conquerors, right?
That's the common picture, absolutely. But it's much more complicated than that. The sheer violence is undeniable, of course.
Yeah.
But what's really fascinating is how this empire, built on conquest, actually became this unexpected catalyst for global change.
Exactly. That's the paradox we want to unpack today. How did they rise up? How did they impact trade, communication, all those connections across Eurasia?
And what's the lasting legacy?
Right. We're drawing on historical accounts, looking at how they built their state, managed trade, and, the bigger patterns they influenced.
Sounds good. So where do we start?
Let's start at the beginning.
Temujin.
Right. Temujin, better known later as Genghis Khan or Chinggis Khan. The story goes he was born clutching a blood clot.
Yeah, apparently a sign in Mongol culture, like a great destiny. Pretty dramatic.
It certainly sets a tone. And his background is key here. The Mongols were nomads, pastoral nomads, from near the Gobi Desert. What does that really mean, day to day?
It means life revolved around livestock, migrating seasonally for pasture and water, always moving.
Which builds incredible riding skills, I imagine.
Exactly. Unbelievable horsemanship, resilience, skills that proved, decisive later on.
So how does Temujin go from being one nomad among many to uniting all these Mongol groups?
It seems to be a mix of smart diplomacy, forging alliances, but also military skill. He proved himself in battle.
He built trust and demonstrated strength.
Precisely. And by 1206, he'd done it. United the tribes, got the title Chinggis Khan.
And then the expansion really kicks off.
Oh, yeah. Immediately. Starts with northern China, then pushes west, Central Asia, southern Russia.
Just relentless expansion.
And it didn't stop when he died in 1227. His sons kept going. The empire hit its peak, its largest extent, around 1279.
It's still kind of mind-boggling. How did these nomads beat massive established empires? Like the Seljis, the Delhi Sultanate, Song China? They must have been outnumbered sometimes.
Often outnumbered, yeah. There were several key things. First, their military structure was incredibly efficient.
The units of 10, 100,000.
Exactly. Very clear command structure. Then, weaponry. Their bows.
Ah, yes, the composite bows.
Much larger, much more powerful, greater range, more penetrating power than what their opponents typically had.
Combine that with their horsemanship.
Unmatched mobility and speed on the battlefield. They could execute complex maneuvers that others just couldn't.
So organization, weapons, mobility, anything else.
Timing was definitely a factor. Some of the big powers they faced, like the Song dynasty or the Abbasid Caliphate.
They were already weakened.
Yeah, experiencing decline or internal issues. The Song had lost northern territories, the Abbasids. Well, the Mongols finished them off at Baghdad in 1258. A huge moment.
Truly world-changing event. And we have to mention their less savory tactics.
Right. The strategic use of brutality. Fear was a weapon.
You mean the stories of wiping out entire cities?
Sometimes, yes. The idea was to terrify others into surrendering without a fight. And honestly, it often worked. Grim, but effective.
It's a dark strategy. But then comes the twist, doesn't it? After all this violence, you get the Pax Mongolica. Peace.
Relatively speaking, yes. Once the conquests established this huge territory, the Mongols actually worked to maintain stability within it.
How did that work, especially after Genghis Khan?
Well, the empire split into different sections, called khanats, ruled by his descendants. And in many places, these rulers were surprisingly adaptable. They started using local administrative practices, local personnel sometimes.
Like Kublai Khan in China. He didn't just rule as a foreign conqueror.
Not at all. He founded a Chinese dynasty, the Yuan dynasty. He understood the importance of Chinese traditions.
The mandate of heaven concept.
Exactly. By unifying China and ruling in a way that resembled a traditional, benevolent Confucian emperor, he gained legitimacy in the eyes of the Chinese elite. Very smart political move.
So they adapted their ruling style. But did they become Chinese or Persian or whatever?
That's the key thing. No, not really. They adopted local methods of ruling, but the Mongols generally kept their own distinct culture, language, social structure. They remained an elite, separate group in many ways.
Okay, so we have this vast, somewhat stable empire under Mongol control. Let's talk trade. How did this connect to, say, the Silk Roads?
It basically supercharged them.
Sure.
Think about it. Before the Mongols, the Silk Roads crossed countless borders. Different rulers, different taxes, different dangers.
The hatchwork, really.
Right. Suddenly, huge swaths of Eurasia are under one unified authority. Travel becomes much, much safer. predictable.
That alone must have boosted trade massively. Did they do anything else specific?
Oh, yes. They actively invested in infrastructure, building bridges, repairing roads, things essential for trade and communication.
Makes sense.
And then there was the YAM system. Really ingenious.
The YAM system. Tell us about that.
It was this incredible network of relay stations spread across the empire, like postal stops, but much more.
What did they provide?
Fresh horses, food, lodging for official travelers, messengers. It meant information could travel incredibly fast. Military intelligence, decrees.
Wow. Like an Imperial Pony Express, but on a massive scale.
Pretty much. And it wasn't just for messages. It helped move important people to skilled artisans, ambassadors. We know Persian officials served in China, Chinese engineers worked in Persia, all facilitated by the YAM.
So it wasn't just goods moving, but expertise too. That improved communication must have helped diplomacy smooth things over.
Absolutely. It helped knit the empire together, fostered those diplomatic links, which in turn just made trade even easier and more profitable. It created a much more interconnected world, really.
And that interconnection wasn't just goods and diplomats, was it? It led to the flow of ideas, technologies.
Exactly right. And this is another slightly surprising aspect. For all their martial focus, the Mongols had a real appreciation for skilled people. Artisans, intellectuals.
They didn't just kill everyone during conquest.
No, often they deliberately spared those people, and more than that, they actively moved them around the empire.
Why? To use their skills elsewhere.
Precisely. They recognize the value of expertise, so you get this incredible cross-pollination of ideas and techniques across Eurasia, deliberately facilitated by the Mongols.
Can you give us some examples? What kind of knowledge was moving?
Well, a big one is medical knowledge, ideas from the ancient Greeks, preserved and developed in the Islamic world. This knowledge starts flowing more readily towards Western Europe during this period.
That's significant.
Hugely. Another massive one, Arabic numerals.
Which actually came from India originally, right? Via the Islamic world.
Correct. The Mongols helped spread that system to Europe. And think about the impact. It completely revolutionized math, accounting, trade, fundamental for later scientific and commercial developments.
It's hard to overstate that one.
Sure.
Any other key transfers?
Well, the Mongols themselves adapted too. They needed a way to write their own language down, especially for administration across this huge empire.
Did they invent a script?
No, Genghis Khan adopted one, the Uyghur script, from a Turkic people they conquered in Central Asia.
And that became the official script.
It became sort of lingua franca for the empire's administration, another tool that helped hold things together and facilitate communication.
It's just fascinating. This empire born of conquest becomes this, like, massive exchange network. But empires rise and fall. The Mongol Empire didn't last forever.
No, it didn't. Its decline was actually relatively quick compared to its rise. Internal conflicts, rebellions, the sheer difficulty of managing such a vast area.
It fractured.
It did. But even its ending had major consequences, didn't it?
How so?
Well, as Mongol power weakened and withdrew, the peoples they had ruled started to, consolidate their own power.
Reasserting themselves.
Exactly. You see formerly subject peoples working to build stronger, more centralized states, forging more unified cultures, partly in reaction to the Mongol period. And that process, in many ways,
Paves the way for the next phase.
you could say it helps set the stage for the rise of the modern world order.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We started with Temujin uniting nomadic tribes.
Then this explosive expansion across Eurasia, often using brutal tactics.
But leading, unexpectedly, to the Pax Mongolica, a period of stability.
Which, in turn, made things like the Silk Roads safer and more prosperous than ever before. They built infrastructure, created the amazing YAM system,
Connecting the world not just through goods, but also through people and ideas.
moving medical knowledge westward, spreading the crucial Arabic numeral system, even adopting the Uyghur script for their own administration. Incredible transfers.
And even as the empire broke apart, it pushed others towards consolidating power, shaping the world that came next.
It really underlines how history is so complex. Destruction and creation, violence and connection, all tangled together.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? That even periods of intense disruption, even violence, can inadvertently lay the groundwork for new kinds of progress, new connections.
Absolutely. It's a powerful reminder, and perhaps it prompts us, to look at other turbulent times in history and ask, what unexpected connections or developments might have emerged from that chaos? Something to mull over.